I've spent a good deal of time trying to understand President Obama and figure out what's at the core. Who is he? He's a complex political figure. There's a cartoon version of him that's out, which is not correct. There is a version that he is the one who has come to save us on everything, and he knows exactly what he's doing. That obviously is not correct either. And in doing these books, you're excavating. You're trying to get down to what really is there. And I want to take a couple of examples. The first book I did was Obama's Wars, on his decisions in Afghanistan. And when he literally added 30,000 troops to that war, and I again had the luxury of time getting the notes, interviewing everyone, re-interviewing, interviewing the president, going through the intelligence, and really laying out as best as somebody on the outside can lay out what happened. But the larger question is, what is Obama's view of war? How does he look at it? Is he willing to use it as a last resort instrument of foreign policy? Yes, I think he is. But as I've traveled this road, he does not like war. And at the end of Obama's wars, I printed a secret document about the agreement he made with the State Department, the intelligence community, and the military. It's clear. When that book came out in 2010, we're getting out of Afghanistan. As you know, if you followed this, we are getting out of Afghanistan. But again, what's at the center of who he is? So after I interviewed him, we got stepped through questions. This happened, this date, this intelligence report. We're walking out of the Oval Office, and he said laughingly, have you ever thought about becoming CIA director? I laughed, realizing it was everything but a job offer. It was not. But I hadn't got to that question of how does he really view war. And I brought along a quotation that I had typed out from one of the great World War II books written by a former colleague of mine at the Washington Post, Rick Atkinson. It's a book called Day of Battle. And in the book, Atkinson, immersed in the details of the war, but steps back and says the following about war. For war is not just a military campaign, but also a parable. There are lessons of camaraderie and duty and inscrutable fate. And I've handed this to the president, and he's reading it. But then Atkinson writes, war is corrupting, corrupts everyone, from the private to the general to the commander-in-chief, essentially because it is the business of killing other human beings. War corrodes the soul and tarnishes the spirit. And even the excellent and the superior can be defiled. And in war, no heart would remain unstained. Obama reading this, and he says quickly, I sympathize with this view. And he said, go look at my Nobel Prize acceptance speech. Now, I'd heard it, I had read it, but I went home and dug it out, and in Oslo City Hall, at the end of 2009, when he received that award, he said the following: the instruments of war do have a role to play in preserving the peace. Yet, war is never glorious. If you may recall, Churchill said war is glorious. Obama said war is never glorious, and we must never trumpet it as such. That war is sometimes necessary, but always on some level, war is a manifestation and expression of human folly. My view is getting out of Afghanistan he's not a peacenik, and he understands the truth in the notion that he who desires peace must prepare for war, but he, at the inner Obama, does not like war and wants to get out.